Welcome back everyone to more of our custom career mode and VR gameplay. And we're coming off of a fantastic race at Chicago. The AI moved around. We had AI on the bottom, we had AI on the top, and some in the middle, making it 3 wide. That was so much fun to race, and I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. So let's go ahead and take a look at our numbers. Of course, we qualified 25th. Incident count, I'm happy to say, was 0. No incidents, or at least no contact that was serious enough to be registered, and we had a finish inside the top 10, a 9th place finish, so that is perfect. So we are off to a great start. Of course, we're not going to mention what happened at Atlanta. That was a racing deal, but our runs are very good. We're fast, we have speed, we're able to get inside the top 10, up into somewhere around 5th position at our best. I believe at Vegas and Atlanta both, we were able to get right inside the top 5. But now if you take a look at the upcoming tracks, Charlotte and Indianapolis, both of these are crown jewel events. Again, if you're wondering, what does this $sign at the very end of the track mean? I'll bring you up to the top of the actual sheet where it indicates that it is a crown jewel event. Then an asterisk will indicate a special event. Special event simply means that the overall purse money is higher than a normal event, which is what these first 3 races have been. And then a crown jewel event has by far and away the largest purse. So it is a huge amount compared to the normal purse money. So we have 2 of these in a row, 2 very different types of tracks, but we're headed to Charlotte. Now, I've got to look back on our top 3 races on the 1.5 miles. Our first 3, we had speed. If we bring that same type of speed to Charlotte for a crown jewel event, there's no telling what we might be able to bring home. All right, folks, here we are, Charlotte Motor Speedway, and look at that crowd. Now, here in just a second, the spotter,
car number 61 in the outside lane.
Spotter's going to go nuts telling us to catch up, so we're going to give it just a minute before we get too deep into discussion. But as everybody starts to roll,
catch stop 52,
there he goes.
Catch stop 75, catch stop 15, catch stop 40, catch stop 22, catch stop 25, catch stop 24, catch stop 45, catch stop 61,
Catch up to car number 61.
They're so worried about us getting left behind. I absolutely love it when they line up like that. That's the way I'm used to short tracks lining up for a big race. But it does have its downside here in iRacing, as the spotter just does not like it. But as we get ready to take the green, a few visual issues here at this track with some of the trackside objects, such as the stands, maybe some of the supports not drawing in as they're supposed to, popping in and out, that kind of thing. But other than that, so far so good. Now the handling of the truck is a different thing entirely, but we'll talk about that as the race goes on. 100 laps here at Charlotte. The skill spread 110 to 125, as we've been using everywhere so far.
Pace car's leaving.
All right, let's see what we've got for these guys. Long race, so we're not going to get in any hurry.
Green flag, green flag.
We're just going to try to make up spots as we have opportunities for, and hopefully we have a lot of opportunities, because this could be a huge payday for us. Now, as always, this thing's going to be really twitchy at the start, but the ride is very harsh. With this setup, I use the same setup once again. Very twitchy, very on edge right now. So we're just going to ride that out for a few laps. Hopefully the truck calms down. We got to figure out which lane wants to go here, bottom or top. Up at the front, as normal, they start to spread out a little bit. But back here in the back, it is 2x2 a lot. Ooh, I even see 3 wide up there. And there's just not room for that here. It may be physically, there's room.
The leader has just done a 30.3.
Oh, look at
Got
the
one
24
inside.
there. Wow.
Keep by.
Can't see who that is on our bottom or our inside right
Stay
there.
right there.
Oh, look out.
There's the bottom.
Ah, that was Matty D that
Window
was having all
fuel
sorts of
open
trouble.
on lap 35, and it will close on lap 67.
Yep, you can see the back end stepping out right there.
Keep it on top. Clear
Whew.
inside.
That is not fun in traffic. So I'm trying to hang on right now. But you can see Matty D immediately goes right back to work. Almost caused a wreck there in turn 1. Whew, this is definitely loose.
Good lap, that's your best in the session.
All right, looks like the 3 trucks now having a few issues. I feel the pain with that for sure.
Outside. Stay low.
I thought being in traffic might tighten this thing up a little bit. And we're still very early.
Got one outside. Good stop.
But it is pins and needles when I get back to the throttle. Just hoping that this thing stays under me.
Got one outside. Stay on the
The
bottom.
ride quality is not good in this truck. Definitely could use some work with the shocks.
B24.
Outside. Clear outside.
All
Outside.
right, everything's starting to get spread out a little
Keep
bit
to the
more.
bottom. Good stop.
I'm very interested to see what happens over the long run. So we've got
23. That was
the caution clock
31.3.
should come into play a couple of times in today's race, with it being a little bit longer
Stay on the bottom.
by virtue of being a special event or
Keep
a
to the
crown
bottom.
jewel. All right, Matty D, let's go.
Stay low.
We got a little momentum here on the bottom. Let's keep it going.
Keep to the bottom.
So we should get our first caution flag due to the
Driver
caution
in front
clock
of us is Alan.
somewhere
B22.
around lap 35, 35, 36, somewhere in that
Clear.
range. And then again, somewhere at around lap 70 or so, just depending on how all this works out. But that's what I'm expecting. We'll see how that works out because caution laps do count. And remember, the caution clock turns itself off at 20 to go. So if we happen to run several caution laps and maybe the caution wasn't going to trigger until around lap 80 or 85, then it won't trigger at all. All right, things seem to be calming down a little bit for us here. Now we're going to find out what we've got for a setup.
Got one outside.
Can I make room here on the bottom? Because everybody seems like they kind of want to be
Got one outside.
on the high side here, at least what we'll call the high side.
Clear outside.
So right now I'm just hoping everybody's going to give us
20th
room,
place.
and I'm going to try to give them room. It's easier said than done at this
Still there.
track.
Clear outside.
But if my truck will continue to really be able to hug that white line at the bottom, then we're going to be in good shape.
Outside.
Well, I feel like we're going to be able to make up some passes, make up some time on these guys. Right now it's working.
B18.
All right, we're up to 18th position.
Stay low.
Bit of a gap here in front of the 91.
Stay on the bottom, clear.
So we'll take that spot. And now we'll have just a moment to breathe as we see what we can do about catching Buddy Kofoid in the 51 just ahead. I'm hoping that this works out very similar to Chicago.
This car, the gap is 0.4.
And the reason I say that is because, well, most of the AI seem to be favoring that higher side. So if we're going to pass, we're going to have to be good at the bottom.
Got one outside, clear.
Because they're giving me that. And at Chicago, we were good on the bottom. All right, Kofoid looks like he wants to go to the low side here. He looks like he wants to make a pass on that 22.
Stay on the bottom.
And we've had some battles with that 22.
Stay low. Keep low. Clear. Got one outside. Stay low. Clear. Got one outside.
16th place.
So these battles
outside
and these pass attempts on the inside are going to get harder and harder to make as we move up through the field. Right now, they haven't taken very long. We've been able to pretty much pull up by a truck, and within a corner or so, we've been able to make that pass. But that's going to start to become much more difficult. Now, we're in the middle of the field now. We're on 15th.
15th place.
All right, so next on the list is our number 19 slash number 40. Wonder how he's enjoying driving that car. All right, we're able to catch up to him pretty good here. Now, I don't feel like we've got the same speed here as what we've had at some of the other tracks, so I don't feel like we're going to be able to get up into that top 5. But, having said that, everybody's pretty close together right now. Meaning that if you look ahead on the track, you can see the leaders. You know, they haven't run off and just gone anywhere, at least not all of them.
That last light was at 32.3.
There are several trucks that we can see out our windshield that are on the same straightaway with us. All right, let's see if we can begin to make our move.
Stay low. Clear outside.
And I say begin because I don't imagine this is going to happen immediately.
Got one outside.
It's going to take a few corners.
E14.
To the bottom. Clear.
Okay, Brian. Lap times are pretty consistent.
Alright, there we go. So it took us about a lap to finalize that pass. You see these guys are definitely using the higher side. It's going to force me to use up my tires a little bit more. But I do not want to just play follow the leader with these guys.
Your lap time was 32.3.
Alright, so here we are, 14th position. And I need to get a check on what lap we're on real quick. Not that it matters a whole lot right now. 100 laps is a long time. We're going to be hitting pit road 2 times.
Outside.
You've just done a
Stay on the
32.3.
bottom. Clear to the top.
Trying to give him room out there. I see him. He's coming back on me. So we may have hit the wall here on how far we can go.
Got one outside. To the
14th.
bottom. Good stop.
Truck is still handling great, so no complaints there.
Got one outside. Stay on the bottom. Keep to the bottom.
Starting to reel in that 15 a
Stay on
little
the
bit
bottom.
more, but at the same time, we definitely are getting pressured from behind.
Good stop.
So where are we at? We're on lap
P15.
23.
To Kraus. Ahead is now 0.1.
So it looks like we have stalled out around 15th. So we made it up to 14th. Now we're backing up a little bit. We'll see how much we back up. Again, the key is just to be patient. No sense in pressing the issue. We either have the speed or we don't. And the 19/40 was definitely faster. As you can see, he has steadily increased his lead over us after passing us, and I would imagine here shortly he's going to be pressuring that 15. At least I think that's the 15 up there. We're just going to keep doing what we do, steady laps. We've got somewhere around 11 or 12 laps likely until the caution. But of course you guys would know better than me, because you are looking at the caution clock, whereas I cannot see it at all.
That's good consistency. Keep it up.
I appreciate the compliment.
The gap to Cell behind is now 0.9.
Alright, so about a second, that's what I need to know. Just let me know what's going on behind me. There's only so much I can see out of my mirror. And right now I'm looking at a whole bunch of spoiler, and that's about it. So I'm trying to look out ahead just a little bit. I'm trying to get an idea. This is where I want to see how spread out we are. Because we've got, of course, the two cars right in front of us, or two trucks, I should say. Then we got a group of 4. Then I don't see anything in front of them. So these guys have really checked out. We may get lapped at some point during this race if they're able to spread it out enough. I don't know that the caution clock is going to give them enough time to do it, but we may get into some lap traffic here, at least with the leaders. Alright, so Austin Wayne Self in the 22 is definitely catching us. And when he does, I'm not going to put up a whole bunch of a fight. We're just going to continue to run our line and give him a little room and let him do his thing. At this point, you're just essentially racing your own race. You're racing the racetrack. Running the pace you can run, because it doesn't really make sense to do anything else. Alright, he's pulling to the inside, but I don't feel like that's what he
Got one
wants.
inside.
But we'll give it to him if that's what he wants. Easy
Stay
there,
right
big guy.
Clear to the bottom.
There we go. That was relatively painless. I had my doubts there mid-corner. I thought he was coming up to me.
P16.
So once again, I don't really have any complaints about the truck. Yes, it's tight, but it's not just horrendously so.
Got one inside. Clear to the bottom.
Alright, so Coforth, I really didn't expect to see him. I thought he was struggling a bit more than that.
17th place.
I do not like being on the high side. Once again, my truck just does not feel right. Now part of that's going to be that my approach and driving style up there would need to be adjusted, since everything I've been doing has been on the bottom, so all of my rhythm is for that. But right now the truck just does not feel good up there. I don't want to be up there. And I'm not sure I'm ever going to get used to saying that either, because usually I would very much prefer to be on the high side if I can.
Right front tire's worn out.
Of course it's wearing out. That's what it does. Yeah, just tight on exit there. I was trying to get back to it and see if I could stay with these guys a little bit better, but it's just not going to happen. You can also see how the truck, if I drive it in deep at all, then you can just see how the front end bounces when we land in turn one. Ooh, that is unbelievably tight.
Got one outside. Still there.
P18. Gap
Clear.
2 Howard ahead is now 0.1.
Outside. Clear.
We got to stick it right down that white line in the corner. That's our shot. And right now we just don't have the speed to make it happen. Just having to be out of the gas too much in the middle of the corner. Too much for too long.
Outside.
Like right there. I can hook this bottom,
Keep to the bottom.
but in order to make that happen, oh, there's a 1 minute warning.
Still
So
there.
we are, yep, lap 36. So that's about right.
Stay
But
low.
remember, the caution clock for later on will shut itself off at 20 to go.
Clear.
So the
Okay,
farther
Brian,
we
the
push
next car
this,
is Hill.
and then of course we're going to have a few caution laps and all that, the
E19.
farther we push, the more likely it is that that caution clock is going to be off and not actually trigger that second time. I think we're still okay, but I'm not for sure about saying that. And of course, if we happen to get a caution for some other reason, a natural caution during the course of the race, then that changes everything. I felt like my engine just went silent there. I know we're not turning any RPMs, but my
Race
goodness.
car is out. We're under caution.
Pit road is closed.
There we go. Caution flag is out.
56. Job.
All right, we ought to have some work to do here trying to catch up, because I don't even know where these guys are. Of course, we know one thing for sure. When the caution comes out, you had better get caught up, because they're going to open.
Pit road is now open.
Yep, they're opening pit road right now, and we're not even to the start-finish line yet. We still got a whole lap to go. Wow. I love it, though. I absolutely love it.
Catch stop 56. Job.
I mean, let's get this thing going. No sense in spending a ton of time under caution. All right, and once again, there's no sense in us really pressing the issue.
Catch stop 23. Job.
What's your speed limit in the pits? The pit lane speed limit is 45 miles
Keep
per hour.
boxing.
We'll need to
Pause.
stop again to get to
Straight.
the end.
2, 1. Right here.
All right, let's see what happens this time. We've been making up several spots, at least 3 to 5 every time we make a pit stop, it seems like. So let's see if that continues to hold true here.
That's it, go.
So as you can see, I'm doing nothing special in the pits to make me faster than these guys, that's for sure. All right, the 56, we were behind him for sure. All right, maybe we didn't make up any this time. That would be my preference. We certainly didn't do anything with regards to strategy, 2 tires, or anything like that.
Catch up 56, car.
All right, we're coming to the 1 to go, and that is how I like to do yellow flags. Very quick. I mean, it was pretty close to being a green flag stop for us, trying to get caught up. We're kind of halfway in between at this point, when you get all spread out like this. So we'll see where everything sorts out. But you can see it's definitely like Tyler Ankrum.
Line up on the outside.
Get ready. Race will resume at the end of this lap.
All right, let's see where it shows us here. 18th. Okay, we made up a little bit, or did we? See, I can't remember where we were before. We made it up to about 14th, then we dropped back. So this is pretty close in all likelihood to where we were. But I do notice like Tyler Ankrum was up higher. I believe he was in 12th, it said. And now he is back here with us. So up front, I see Chandler Smith. I see Zane Smith up there. I can't tell who all of those are as far as at the very front. But something tells me Hocevar is up there as well. Carson's flying today, I'm sure. And then, of course, we've got the guys that we've been racing with back here. We've got Kraus, we've got Kofoid, and then there's Timmy Smith.
All right, Brian, be ready. We're
right
going green.
next to us, or Timmy Hill, rather. All right, so we're on the outside, so we have the preferred lane on a restart, but remember, this thing is twitchy.
Get ready, going green.
And of course, we're in the middle of the pack right now, so yeah.
Pace car's in.
This could be interesting.
Green,
Green flag, we're racing.
All right, I am hammer down full throttle. Let's see how far they pull away from me,
D17.
like they usually do.
Stay high.
All right, also, don't wreck it.
Clear. Inside. 3 wide. You're on top.
Don't do that.
Hold your line. You got one inside. Still there.
Yep, they took me 3 wide,
Stay
thank
right
goodness. So far, at least.
Keep it on top.
Ooh, look out there, 16.
Clear. Inside. Stay high.
Ooh, this is tense.
Keep it on top.
And actually, lots and lots of fun.
21st. That lap was at 33.3.
I'm trying to run a little bit lower to discourage 3 wide. Hoping that maybe by splitting the difference, they won't be able to do exactly what they're doing in front of me and being 3 wide.
Inside. Keep it on
Oh,
top.
look at that. That is so tight. Oh, look out.
Clear.
Woo! We're trying to wreck back here, and I mean we're trying hard to wreck.
22nd place. That lap time was 32.4.
Apparently somebody put out a weather bulletin that says we're racing to 5 to go. Is that what we're doing right now? We got 5 more laps?
Still there.
All right, see, they're taunting me with this 3 wide right now on the 61, but I'm not buying it.
Clear. Got one outside. Keep to the bottom. Keep low. Stay low.
When they say that these restarts
Stay
are
low.
where the action is, that is not an exaggeration. So we're just now getting the truck to a point where I can sort of work with it and not just have to catch it in the corners.
Clear. Got one outside. Still there. Clear to stop.
Now the catching I'm trying to do is when it hits the bumps and skates all over the place. That's what I'm trying to do in the corners, particularly on the entry of 1.
Keep low. Clear outside.
Look at these guys behind us. If you can see that, I can barely see it. I can see enough to know that they're back there and they're hungry.
Outside.
So here's another group.
There.
Let's just go ahead and jump in the middle of this. Why not?
Keep to the bottom.
P16.
All right, we're behind Ty Majeski here. I feel like he should be doing good,
Your lap times are improving. This is good.
but he is not. So I'm having to feather this throttle and just try to give him some room. He is fading.
3 wide. You're on the bottom.
Oh, 3 wide. Did not realize I was taking it 3 wide.
Still there.
You see the 16 just right through there, like he was shot out of a cannon.
P18.
Clear to the top.
The next car is
Got one outside.
Oh, Hocevar. Okay, never mind. Maybe he's not running that way. Now, through all this mess, I think we're about where we were.
Keep low. Stay on the bottom.
I'm not sure about you guys, but it feels to me like we've been passed by pretty much every truck in the field.
P16.
But the reality is, while we've been passed by a few trucks, we've also passed some. So I think the net is about 0. We're pretty close to it, including passing some trucks that I never would have dreamed we've been passing today, like Hocevar and Majeski. Hopefully we can stay in front of them.
Outside. Stay on the bottom. Keep low. Clear outside.
All right, 61, what are we doing here?
Outside.
Are we going,
Stop.
or are we working our way backwards? Which one are we doing?
Got one outside. 3 wide. You're on the bottom. Hold your line. Now we're halfway. Hold your line.
Halfway.
Keep digging.
15th place.
Outside.
Okay, Brian.
Still there.
We're halfway home. Should be about
Outside.
38 laps of fuel remaining.
These guys take no prisoners, and I absolutely am enjoying the heck out of it right now.
Still there.
I love seeing the comers and goers, where you'll see one guy who is falling back. We've seen that with Hocevar. We saw that with Majeski.
P13.
One guy is falling back, and then we also saw, who was that earlier?
Got one outside.
That was like he was shot out of a cannon.
Keep low. Clear.
That took it 3 wide and made the pass on about 2 or 3 trucks in one set of corners. I love seeing that. Now, it's a lot more fun when you are the guy doing all the passing. But in this case, we had... Oh, who is that? Somebody's coming into the pits. That's no good for them. Who is that? Oh, it's John Hunter. I can barely see the message for him pitting in. But see, that's the ebb and the flow. That's what you miss a lot of times with AI, unless you really do a lot of work with them. Now, of course, iRacing doesn't allow you to do. There's only so much you can do in iRacing, but that's what I feel like is really missing overall in racing with the AI, is that ebb and the flow, where
The gap in front is now 0.8.
instead
Good
of everybody
consistency.
just getting out
Coming.
there and just running the same line and the same lap times and nobody really passes and, you know, and it just sort of settles in like that. Let's have the ebb and the flow. Let's have comers and goers and guys that are stronger later in the run, guys that are stronger earlier in the run, guys that get stronger as the race goes on. So they might start toward the back on a bad qualifying effort, but then move their way forward over the course of the race. And then, of course, you're going to have the opposite of that. Guys who qualify extremely well, but over the course of the race, they find themselves working themselves to the back of the field. All of those things are what make racing fun. So the more that you can implement against the AI, the better. So we've just had our first pit stop, and now we've had several laps under green. So we're at lap 55. And let's get a check on what position we're in right now. We are in 11th position, so comers and goers.
Got one outside.
We are one of those, apparently, who's coming to the front, at least for now, because we didn't make it this high on the first go-around, in our first stint, or first stage, however you want to break that down. It'd be nice if we could do stage points like that.
Stay on the bottom.
Where we could stipulate the length of the stages. All right, I was trying to see if we were 2 wide or 3 wide.
Clear outside.
But right now, we're the one coming to the front, and that's always much
Ryan,
nicer.
Pit window is open.
He's talking about the pit window is open to the end of the race.
You're the top 10.
Because you can go somewhere around 44, 45 laps on a tank of fuel. But of course, that's not what we're interested in. You guys are seeing the caution clock. You know how much time it has remaining on it. I don't think I've seen the halfway point, the 10-minute mark yet, or the warning for that. I don't think so. Right now, I'm just enjoying it.
P8. The lap time was at 32.1.
P8? That's excellent. Again, comers and goers. If we've made it up this high, which is much higher than we made it the first go around, then that means some other folks are going backwards. So the biggest thing I can do right now is just try to get in rhythm and run my pace. Once again, it's all about running our own race against the track and not really worrying about racing anybody else.
In front is now 0.9.
So look at Timmy Hill up there in 7th position. Speaking of comers and goers, I mean, and Kraus, same thing. All right, there's our 10-minute warning.
Keep digging.
That was at 32.1.
Truck's still working very well. I mean, we're halfway into this run, and again, I'm just trying to be smart with it, but we're still moving forward. We're still catching the trucks in front of us at this point. That's the way I view it. I don't even know the lap times. I don't care. Those aren't really helpful to me at this point. What's helpful to me at this point is to know, are we catching the trucks in front of us, or are the trucks behind us catching us? Are we chasing or being chased? And right now we're still chasing. And if you can ever get your truck to be constantly chasing throughout the entire run and never being chased, then you are in good shape.
Clear.
All right, so the 56 is not going to go quietly here. He's just running his lane.
Keep to the bottom.
And right now I can't get enough speed off these corners to really do anything with him. But he's not making life difficult for us.
Outside. Still there. Clear.
Truck's handling just fine here on the bottom.
Got one outside.
But he's still there.
Stay on the bottom.
7th position.
Still there. Good to stop.
All Alright, let's go ahead and slide up here and see if we can't take this. Don't you do it.
Got one inside.
Oh, easy
Clear.
now.
Got one inside. Keep high.
So he really doesn't want to give up this spot.
Still there.
P8.
Clear to the bottom. Got one inside.
Yeah, he does not want to give
Still
up
there.
this spot. We had him cleared. I tried to go back down to the bottom.
Keep it on top. Clear. Got one inside.
Oh wait, that's not him.
Got one inside.
Hold on now.
Clear inside.
Alright, so what are these guys doing? Did they pit as a
Stay
strategy play? Because I know they're not lapping us. I'm going to have to look here in a moment, but I feel like, as he goes to the outside, at least I thought he was. Okay, no, they pitted. I got to feel like that's a strategy play. Which I don't like, because that's... Now, in one way, I do kind of like it because it's going to mix things up. We get
to the bottom.
different strategies, but what I don't like about it is I don't want...
Ahead is now 2.8 seconds.
I don't want a bunch of guys taking themselves out of the race unnecessarily, because there was really no reason to pit there. Now, I didn't feel like I was using ratings for the AI that were, you know, ultra aggressive either way on pit strategy. So we'll have to see how this works out. Because if they're fast enough, which I believe they are, then when it comes time for that caution clock, they might still be on the lead
Got one
lap.
inside. Keep high. Clear to the bottom.
I don't know. We'll see how all this works out. It's making for
That car
a
is
very
not a lead lap car.
interesting race. Because apparently we got some strategy going on that I was unaware of. So the comers and goers is taking on a very, very different flavor right now. Oh, just cannot run this high side the way I want to. All right, there's our 5-minute
Got one
warning.
outside. Keep to the bottom.
P7.
Still
We're
there.
still in 7th. So all these guys that are passing us are simply
Stay on
on
the
a
bottom.
different
Clear.
strategy. So this is going to make me rethink, possibly anyway, rethink
Outside. Clear to the
these
top.
special events and trying to do longer events. Because if they're going to take themselves out of the race, if this doesn't turn out well, that's not what I want.
Outside.
Strategy plays I'm good with, but I was hoping that the
8th place.
caution clock would take that out. Never would have dreamed that these guys would
Still
hit
there.
so soon after they had just come in,
Stop.
treating it almost like a road course. And just simply working the race backwards.
Got one outside. Keep low.
But either way,
That car
this is
not
going
a
to
lead
get
lap
very
car.
interesting.
Clear.
We're going to have some
Okay,
lap
Ryan,
cars.
that's good consistency. Keep it up.
All right, we're back in 8th. So Tyler Ankrum. That was for position. It's hard to tell what's for position right now and what's not. This is where you would really need your crew chief and spotter to help you out. Because when John Hunter came to us and was passing us, I didn't know that's who it was, number one, and I didn't know why he was passing us. So that would have been good information from the crew chief. Of course, that's going to be very difficult to program all that in. I understand that. maybe I need to get me a live spot.
Outside.
And maybe I need to figure out a way to make that happen.
Stay low.
See if I can get one of my kids
That
in
car
here.
is not a lead lap car.
Help
That
me
car
out.
is a lap down. Keep to the bottom.
Yeah,
Stay
see, I mean, all
outside.
these cars are lap down,
Outside.
lap down. Did everybody pit?
Go to the top.
I mean, it's starting to feel that way. Starting to feel like everybody pitted except for just a few trucks, like us, that are left out on the track. I keep looking for that warning that the caution is coming soon. Well, for right now, what they're really doing with all this pitting is they are increasing our payment. If we can hold on here and see how many of these
V8.
cars are a lap down, because we know over the last, whatever it ends up being, 25, 30 laps or so, they're not going to unlap themselves
Your last
either.
lap time was 32.8.
So we know that much. So if they're a lap down, ooh, don't take me 3 wide, please. Please, please. I'm trying to stay out of the way since y'all clearly have better tires and are faster.
Outside. Keep low.
We're so close to that caution
Got one
that
outside.
I am
That
not
car
going
is
to
a
be
lap
fighting
down.
for it.
Keep to the bottom.
P9. That last lap
To
was
the
at
bottom.
33.0.
Yeah, there we go. There's our 1 minute warning.
Stay low.
All right, so Timmy Hill is for position. A couple of these guys have been for
Got one
position, but
outside.
again,
Still there. Clear outside.
all right, Buddy
Got one
Cofort's. So
outside.
now these guys are for position. Coming back to me.
Low.
P10. Your lap
Stay on the
time was
bottom.
33.1.
Stay on the bottom. Clear. Got one outside.
All right, now we're waiting for that caution and that final sprint to the end.
Clear outside.
Now, normally, this race would be over because our normal 1.5 lap
Got one
is
outside.
70.
Still there. Still fighting
Race
out.
car's out.
On a single file. Pit road is closed.
All right, there it
Stop
is.
sign 51.
What we hope is the final caution of the day.
Catch stop 56. Car.
All right, well, we caught him. Let's go. We need to get caught up. To who? I'm not sure. Not sure who's leading this thing up here and who's still on the lead lap.
Catch
But we need to catch
stop
somebody.
56. Car.
Let's see if it works its way out the way it did last time, where we're coming off turn 4 at speed, or very close to speed anyway, and needing to come in to pit road, which is hilarious.
Pit road is now open.
And folks, take a look at what lap we're on. It just clicked over to 80. My fear of the caution clock turning itself off at 20 to go almost happened. We were, what, within a lap and a half of that being a reality. So that was very close. That's how much the pace slows down.
The leader, great, is pitting. Watch your speed. All right, Brian, we'll fuel you to the end of the race. We expect you'll be
Pit
coming out of the
boxing,
pits into
5,
clear air. When we exit the
3,
pits, we should be in
2,
position 25.
1.
A few seconds
Right
behind
here.
Anderson. Anderson behind is pitting now.
All right, let's see what we can do. Try to get our wheels straight.
That's it. Go. $20 to go to stripe.
All right, there were a lot of trucks that had to stay out behind the pace truck.
Car 4 got the lucky dog. Let them pass on the outside.
Oh, the 4 Got the lucky dog. That's John Hunter. So the strategy got him back on the lead lap. So do these other guys take the wave around? I mean, you almost have to, right? You don't want to be a lap down. Going into, what, 17, 18 to go. You know, if you're stuck a lap down. So you basically have to. And that just really just changes the entire complexion. Wow. This is... I'm gonna have to take a look at the ratings. There you can see they're coming in, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but hey, if they can make it on fuel, the tires should hang in there. Now they're not going to be any good, but nonetheless. All right, so we're doing 2 to green because we have lap cars in the pits now. So we're sitting here in 7th position, so we moved up again. Unbelievable. Now, I would hope that we're on the inside lane this time. Our position would indicate that, but we'll see how it actually works out. So we're going to have about 16, 17 laps to go to the end, and that is going to be a mad scramble. You guys remember what it was like on the last restart, where we were trying really hard to wreck, like really hard. That's why I want to be on the inside, because if we're on the inside, I'm hoping that if it's going to be 3 wide, we will be 3 wide on the bottom, which at least gives me a little more control. 3 wide on the top, I feel like is just going to end up with us in the wall coming off the corner, because we're just going to run out of space for everybody. And of course, in the middle, 3 wide, yeah, it's better than the outside, I think, but I don't know how much more. All right, so everybody's had an opportunity to do their pits, and yeah, this is...
Okay, bud, green flag next time.
Not sure how all of this is going to work out.
Race will resume at the end of this
Imagine
lap.
if we had the choose cone out here. Wouldn't that be something? I can go ahead and tell you, I'm choosing the bottom. That's actually a pretty easy decision for me at this track right now. Now, if we were at Atlanta, I'm going on the outside. I want the outside. Chicago, I want the bottom. I guess Las Vegas, it's been so long. I'm not even sure which one I want. I probably want the bottom at Vegas, but as much as I would like to run that outside, but I can't remember. It's been too long, and that's only been just a few days ago that I recorded that, but so much racing has happened since then that I'm losing track. So as we get ready to come to the green, we're in 7th position.
Heads up, prepare for green flag.
Hopefully I can keep this thing under me for the first few laps, because it's going to get wild here.
Getting ready here, getting ready.
I mean, we've got Parker in front. Parker Kligerman, come on. You know what he's going to do.
Pace car's leaving. Green, green, green.
By the way, I am foot to the floor. Oh, easy now.
E7.
Somebody just got me in the right rear trying to turn me. And we ain't even got to the corner yet.
Got one outside.
Yeah, I mean, I'm foot to the floor.
Still there. Still there.
And these guys are just blowing by me left and right.
Got one outside. Keep to the bottom.
It takes... Oh, don't do it. Woo!
Clear outside. Got one outside.
Yep, we're trying to wreck here. If y'all just give me a little bit of room, I'm trying to wreck for you.
P9.
Of course, the AI don't have to deal with this. Whenever it goes back green, they just go. They don't have any issues with the tires, which can definitely make it fun. All right, now I want to get back up in that fight. That's where I want to be right now.
Your leader has just done a 30.3.
Because this isn't a long run. This isn't save your tires for a long run. This is go get everything you can get. This is not move over and let this guy go because he's faster and you're saving tires, or you're trying to be make smart decisions. This is go get it. So let's see what the AI do. They're trying to be 3 wide in front of us. They're really trying hard.
Outside.
I have faith in you, Matty D.
Outside. Outside. Still there.
So I've tried to follow him, and that doesn't appear as though that was the right thing.
Outside.
All right, 91, we are coming through.
Still there.
So I'm going to need you to give me just a little bit of room, if you don't mind.
Keep to the bottom. Clear to stop.
10th position.
Outside.
Trying to hang this bottom pretty
Stay
good,
low.
but at the same time, yep,
Clear
it's just,
outside.
man, that was a pretty good corner for us. And he just blew right by us. Woo! Yeah, that got close in a hurry.
That lap was a 31.0.
Oh, the 91 got on the outside there. But right now, I feel like I need somebody to get out and push.
Got one outside.
Because even when we have a good corner, these guys are
Stay
still
low.
streaming by us.
Stay on the bottom.
All right, Brian. The next car is
Got one
Hill.
outside. Stay on the bottom. That car is not a lead lap
Now,
car.
some of these guys,
Stay
like
low.
Hocevar.
Clear outside. Outside. You're on the bottom, 3 wide. Outside. Still there. Stay on the bottom.
Yeah, these guys are just streaming by me. I can't do anything about it. I feel like we're doing pretty good here. I mean, this thing is like right there. I was able to get back in the throttle aggressively very early.
Still there.
And it didn't even matter. Look at these guys coming by me.
10 laps to go.
It's hilarious and sad at the same time. Woo. Trying to stay off the 99 right there. But yeah, that is not what you want to see.
Got one outside.
So granted, a lot of that, since we really haven't lost many positions, we're still in 10th. Even though there was a steady stream of trucks going by us. A lot of those guys were just faster. Those were the guys who would be leaders if it weren't for the whole issue of strategy.
Stay on the bottom. Clear outside.
So they were going by me simply because they're faster, period.
Got one outside.
But me and Timmy Hill, we're just doing battle right here. And we've done battle multiple times.
Clear outside. Outside.
I mean, look at that. That's a good corner. I was able to hammer that throttle on the bottom and stay in it.
Clear outside.
I had to breathe it a little bit, but that tells me the guys on the top must have just been hammered down the entire way around for me not to be able to make up any ground on it.
Keep to the bottom.
P9.
Stay on the bottom.
That's just pure speed is all that is.
Good stop.
Like right there, I'm able to just wrap that white line around the bottom, and finally, we get rewarded for that. Finally. Oh, don't do it. Wow. We almost took out the 91 right there.
Outside. Stay low.
He was coming down the track a little bit, but most importantly,
10th position.
I was shoving up the track on corner exit. So all of that we fought for with the 56, we got to start all over again.
Outside.
Oh, like that. All right, so now I see what they're doing.
Outside.
They're coming down the track on me
Keep to the bottom. That car is not
and making that 10 times
Right,
worse.
reeling you in. The gap is now 0.1.
Clear outside.
So yeah, on exit of the corner, they're simply driving down the track, taking that room away from me, and in the process, almost getting themselves wrecked.
Outside. Stay on the bottom.
We're almost 3 wide, if not 3 wide.
Stay low. Clear. Got one outside.
All right, I think that, isn't that John Hunter to our outside? Yeah.
Clear outside.
We don't see John Hunter very much because he's usually spending all his time up front. Same thing with Zane Smith and a few of these other guys.
Got one outside.
But right now we have the pleasure of just waving to them as they go by.
P11.
Still there. Stay on the bottom.
Again, that's another good corner for us. There's not a whole lot extra I can do, so you just see how much faster these guys are. These guys that would be at the front normally.
Good to go. That car is a lap down.
2 to go.
So we tried. I was trying to get everything I could get up there, but unfortunately, I just don't have the speed for these guys.
White flag next time I hit the stripe.
I just can't compete with these guys on speed. Even though, I mean, the first couple of laps on new tires are awful
Got one
White flag,
outside.
one more lap.
because I'm chasing the back end of the truck all over the place, trying just not to spin it out. Of course, the AI don't have to deal with that. They can just go with 100% grip and not have to worry about any of that. So that puts us behind.
Got one outside. Clear outside.
But then on top of that, they're just fast. It's just that simple. When they can do some of the things they're doing, they're just fast. And that's what I'm looking for. That's what I was afraid.
P11. Okay, it's over. Well done, mate.
All right,
Finish.
folks. Woo!
We'll get them next time.
That was a fun end to the race. As mixed up as that was, I'm not sure where we actually were on speed. I'm just going to pull over here and get out of these guys' way. So we ended up in 11th position. On speed, I feel like we were probably somewhere around 16th, 17th, maybe even a little bit lower than that. That's the way I feel. Of course, I don't know for sure because of all the strategy stuff, but that's kind of how I
That's the end
feel.
of the race. Never mind.
And that's, I love it, never mind. But I feel like that's where I wanted us to be with this skill spread and being at the upper end of the scale on difficulty. So all in all, it was a fun race for sure. That goes without saying. I mean, I had a blast. But our overall finish, I feel like, was much, much better than what we deserved for pure speed. So on that note, we will call it a day. 11th place here at Charlotte. We're going to get a big payday for that and can't wait to see exactly what it is. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and stick around for more custom career mode and VR gameplay.